Are you a little bit snowed in, sweetie? I'm gonna run back to safety. This window is absolutely hilarious. It freezes. I think I'm gonna move. Look at this. This is chaos. Then come the drips. This is my life. It's -2 degrees. I've parked in a quarry. I'm going to show you just how difficult winter is in a van. Start with just how filthy. I washed this less than a week ago. She is revolting already. My cat's over there. I don't know if you can see her. She's off exploring. Just pulled up to a new spot. Quarry, something, quarry. I'm the only one here at the minute. Perfect for the cat. So I'll let her out and then I'll go have an explore and a walk. Every day the weather's good. I try to get out for a walk. No, I do get out for a walk. I get out for a walk usually between 11 and 1. Best time of day. It's even better when the sun's out. So I just try to, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles or something like that. Not much. Oh. And make sure I get out in the sun as much as possible because it's dark from 4 p.m. And I've been on some incredible little walks, found some lovely places. I'm by a quarry today. So we're just exploring, going around. Hardly bad to look at, is it? So I find this really helps, just getting out every day, unless it's chucking it down, but thankfully, that's one good thing about this winter so far, we've not actually had much rain, because the rain is rough, but you know what, we have had a lot of wind. The wind has been really rough. I've had to find places which is the most sheltered, I guess. Ooh, what's down there? Should we go down there? No, I'm going to stick to the path because I don't know where I am. Anyway, yeah, the wind has been really quite rough, literally. So luckily I have a spot that is sheltered. If the wind's blowing from a certain direction, it's very sheltered. I'm right by bushes, so that's good, but there have been many a nights I've not slept and I've been rocked around feeling like I'm on a boat. Oh, this isn't right. I must have had to do the other way. I must have had to go the other way. So that's been the least fun part so far, is the wind. It's just not fun, is it? But every time I see someone's paying £400 a month for their electric, I just go, I'd rather be rocked around in a van for a night or two and have to pay £40 a month for my gas instead of 400. So like I've said before, lots of benefits but also lots of payoffs. But to me, oh, there's a little blackbird on the floor there. It's fine, I'm happy to pretend I'm on a boat in the wind for a while. Cooking when it's windy is hilarious. So that's probably the most annoying thing so far about winter and the cold, but when you wrap up warm, you're all right. Right, let's carry on the walk. Absolutely stunning. Warmed up now as well, now I'm walking. It's beautiful, I can just hear the birdies. Can you hear the birdies? So peaceful. A few more cars in the car park now. I've just met a wonderful man over there. He looked like he had a camera, you know, a big camera. So I was just like sneaking up because I was like, if he's got an animal or something in his sights, I don't want to scare him if he's capturing a picture. Anyway, it wasn't a camera. It was one of those big fancy binocular things. And I just said to him, I was like, am I right to come past? And he goes, yeah, I'm just looking at an owl. And there was a little owl on some farm machinery, so he just showed me it through his binoculars. That was amazing. I love things like that. This is the best parts about van life, honestly. The amount of random people I just meet, and everybody in these situations is just so nice. And it's like they're all interested in nature, which is what I like, so there's always stuff to talk about. It's great, unexpected joy of living in a van. Watch Savannah be right here. Oh, no. Oh, are you there, babies? Hi, darling. Good girl. So the main problem is muddy shoes. I have put just offcuts of carpet down because it was just getting ridiculous. So this is just gonna have to be here for winter. They look like crap. They're covered in mud now, but that's what I've had to do. So you've got to take your shoesies off. Oh, you're good, aren't you? You're good. So you kind of got to take shoes off before you get in, which is a bit of a pain, to be fair. So there we go. All right, kitty. Do you want to go out for a little bit, darling? Or you okay chilling there for a minute? Huh? Good girl, she's got a lovely little field to explore. I'll shut the door then. You just can just ignore the hair. I slept in it like this. So the cold is not actually a problem in the van. It's cold for everybody outside. So the heating is absolutely fine in here. I've come back in, it's 12.1 degrees. So I'm gonna turn the gas on. Which means I've got to like just get the switch on in here, which is hilarious. Excuse me, Sab. No, thank you, girl. Right, so you turn that on, turn the gas switch on, and then we've got I've got a Truma combi boiler. So I just set it to 21 or 22 or 23, depending on what mood I'm in. So that kicks in, and then it's just warm in here. Like I'm not cold. The last thing I am is cold. I don't leave the heating on through the night unless it's going below 0. The insulation is pretty good. It's about 8 to 10 degrees warmer in the van than it is outside. If it's above freezing outside, it's going to be above 10 degrees in here, which is fine to sleep in. You sleep really well in cold. But when it's going minus, I leave the heating on 10. So the coldest it would get is 8 degrees in here, and then the heating would kick in and it would take up to 10. Just to stop anything freezing. I mean, that's part of the reason why I kept the water tank inside and stuff, so when it was cold, it didn't freeze. But I've generally just not been cold in the van at all. It's just, you know, when you got the heating on, it's warm, it's fine. It's 12:26 and we're on 12 degrees, so I'll let you know how quickly that takes to warm up. And I'm gonna cook some breakfast, so I'm going to put the oven on while we're chatting, and I'm going to bake some bread. I buy these like part baked things, which, oh, that one's split. Oh dear. I make a bacon and egg baguette with those. So we'll put that in. I'll put that in while we're talking. And then that can go. So just put my little timer on, so you might be able to hear that. How else do I manage in winter? There's a few things that you have to do differently. One of the things that is an absolute lifesaver are these little like crystal packs. So they've got a blue dot on them, and when they turn pink, you have to dry them. And when they're blue, they basically soak up moisture. So these things I keep on the windows. So I'll keep one up here on this one. This window is absolutely hilarious. It freezes. When it's cold outside, it freezes because this window cover that Mum made me is actually really insulated. So it can be 20 degrees this side of this, but I take this off and the window's frozen behind it, which is hilarious. So I woke up the other day and I keep this here during winter. I keep that basically there because it gets loads of condensation, so it's like it soaks up the water.
And the other morning, this was essentially stuck to the side. It was frozen to the side and it was frozen solid. So that is working. It's a treat. Because it's just moisture, isn't it? It's the moisture that you've got to sort of like deal with, because I don't sleep with the fan on through the night. So I roll this up. This is just an old tea towel that I've had for years. I roll this up and that goes on there like that. So that tends to stay there through the winter. And then at night time, I'll put one of these here in the middle, and then I'll put this on. So these things are really, really handy. And then I also put, I've got 3 of them. I've got 3 of them in total. And then I put 2 more, one at that side and one at that side of this window. Now this window very rarely gets condensation on it because I'm not near that when I sleep, but this one above the bed gets very wet and very frozen. But again, because I've got the protector on, it's fine. So these things, so you recharge them. In the houses it says microwave, oven, or like on a radiator, but I don't have any of those things in here. I've got an oven, but I'm not putting them in the oven. So what I do is, there is a heating duct down here, and I basically place them there, and then after a few minutes turn them round, and that's how I keep them dry. And they tend to stay always with like the blue bit. Then they go a little bit white, but that's how I do that. So they basically just live down there through the day when the heating's on. So they're recharging every day. It's like a daily activity. And then in the evening when I lock up, when it gets dark, I put 1 on that window and 2 on that window, shut the curtains and leave it. So that's how I deal with the condensation. Like I said, the cold's not an issue because it's not cold in here. I'm already warm in here. So it's already 14 degrees. So it goes up really quickly. And do you know what I've found? As long as the heating's coming through, it's warm. But actually the second you stop that heating, it very quickly feels cold. Even though the thermostat will say it's 20 degrees in here, you kind of feel the chill quite quickly. So I've realised that I actually just need the heating on. Just need it blowing gently all the time. So as long as it's constantly blowing, you can hear it coming out now. As long as it's blowing, I'm not cold at all, which is fine. So like I said, I put carpets down. One of my clients has had a renovation done and she had some offcuts, so I got this for free, which is amazing. I mean, you can tell it was grey, but look how muddy it is. But honestly, with just the floor, when Savannah was coming in, it was just mud everywhere. Me, you know, because sometimes you can't take your shoes off straight away, and it was just mud everywhere. So I've put these, and also it's nicer on the tootsies. It's nicer on the tootsies because the cold, obviously, is right underneath the van. So yeah, it's just nicer to have your feet on carpet, but they're a bit mucky, but they're only going to stay for winter, and then I'll get rid of them again. And I've had to like cut them. It was like one big piece, but I've had to cut them in sections so I can like get to my drawers and stuff, because I couldn't open this drawer with the whole thing. So that's why I've cut it, so I can lift that back, and just a bit of an anti-slip thing there. So I lift that back and then I can get to my drawers. But that's actually working very well. Savannah just comes and stands, so then her mud's on there, so then there's less mud as she walks up here, because that is a bit of a pain. And that's why this is here, because this is, I mean, look at it, look at the state of it already. Because she comes up here, she walks over there, you can see the mud here, you can see her paw prints on there. Hey missus. And then her paw prints will be all over here as well, because she just walks everywhere. She loves being in the cab, does this one, which is weird. Like, even when it's really cold, oh, it's actually warmer in the cab than it is in the back at the minute because the sun's in. But she tends to really like the cab. She sleeps in there on a night most of the time. I think it might be because of the window, she can see out, so she likes it in there. So she sleeps in there in the evening, then comes back in here just before bed, and then sleeps on me at night times. And then for Christmas, I got an oodie, which is the thickest, warmest, biggest, comfiest thing in the world. And I'm not going to pretend. I've basically lived in it since Christmas Day. My entire evenings now are just spent in the oodie. It's so big. It's so big. But that's how I stay warm in the evening in the van. I usually just have pants on in the summer, and in the winter now I've got pants on and then just me big hoodie. It's absolutely hilarious. I think it's so funny. Look at the size of it. So this is how I live. This is how I spend my evenings, just in my hoodie. And I'm perfectly warm. So it's been -degrees through the night for the last couple of nights. I've actually slept in this as well, and it's so comfortable. Like before, maybe a month ago, December, I was sometimes waking up in the night quite cold because I hadn't figured all this out yet. I hadn't worked out how to do it all yet. And oh, I'm far too hot in that. I can't keep this on with the heating on. So I kind of like, I slept and I felt the cold on my head through the night, and it would wake me up the first few times. So what I did before we got really cold was, I've got like a little bonnet thing that when I sleep with my hair done, I sleep in that. So I put that on to go to sleep in, and that stopped that cold waking me up. So yeah, it was cold for a couple of nights. Woke up a couple of nights and had to like work out, and this is when I realised that if it got below freezing I had to put the heating on, because I like sleeping in cold, but let me tell you, the difference between 7 degrees and 10 degrees is quite a lot. Like when it drops below 8, that's when it was waking me up, being cold. So 10 is like fine for me to sleep. So that's what I've been doing with that, and now I'm sleeping in the hoodie, which works out very well, and I keep the heating on about 8 degrees, 10 degrees overnight, and that's sort of sorted out that problem. And the other major thing, which I'm just so grateful for, I'm so happy I did this, is keeping the bulkhead. The difference in this cab is actually insane. The amount of times I've woken up and it's been like, you know, we have the back on 20 degrees, it's 1 degrees, -1 degrees, -2 degrees, -3 degrees in the front. It's astounding how much this actually like stops the heat and, or well, keeps the heat in and stops the cold coming in. If you've watched through the build, you realise that I toyed with this a lot, whether to keep this in or not, and everybody told me to take it out. But the amount that this is actually saving me, I think, through the winter is quite amazing. It really, really does mean that I can keep the back of this van so warm and closed off, because look at all the glass in the front. Like all of that glass, it just releases heat so quickly. And I think I'd actually have a really hard time keeping this van warm if I had that, you know, if the heat was just going out there all the time, and then the amount of condensation that would be on there as well. So yeah, I think I'm really glad about that. If it's something that you're toying with and you're in a colder country, keep the bulkhead in. I know it takes away some space, but if you're living on your own, you don't really need the swivel seats or anything. So yeah, I'm really happy that I did that. That is helping me so much. Once the sun sets on an evening, you can instantly feel the cold coming from through there. So I like put my hand through and you can just feel the cold. So that's when I shut off the cab. I leave it open through the day because it's nice to get the light through and be able to see. But yeah, that is a huge thing that is helping me. I think I would be struggling a lot more if I didn't have that closed off. I mean, it'd be freezing in here overnight. My parents' motorhome's like that, and I went to see them the other day, and Dad said that it was 0 degrees in their motorhome. And yeah, shutting this off makes mine 10 degrees warmer, so it really does make a difference. So, oh, gotta check the bread again. Oh yeah, cool, okay. Couple more minutes on that. And also making some really nice hearty meals, warm food, cooking in this van. That is also a very nice thing about winter. One of the things that's really good and actually better in winter is the hot water. So when you have the heating on, I've got a Truma combi boiler thing, and when you have the heating on, it automatically, as like a side product, heats the 10 litres of water that's in the tank, because it's getting hot because it's heating. So I actually don't need to turn the hot water on ever in winter. If I've got the heating on, I've always got hot water, which is really helpful. In summer, that's not the case. and it's a bit annoying because sometimes you just want to turn the tap on and have hot water just to wash your hands like I've just done there. Whereas in summer, you've got to literally put the hot water on, wait 15 minutes for it to heat up, and then you've got it. Now, it's just not something I do in summer. I tend to, well, what I was doing in summer was leaving all of my washing up and stuff till the evening, then putting it on once. So you use it for a shower, you do your washing up and things like that, because it's a bit more of a nuisance because you've got to keep it on. Whereas in winter, I've always got hot water, so that's a bonus. I don't even need to turn it on for the shower. It's hot enough for me to have a shower. It's incredible. So that is a plus, I guess. Nom nom. This is also a lifesaver in winter, summer and every other way. That gets rid of all the condensation. I've cooked, so it's hot now. 26 in half an hour. So yeah, it's plenty warm in here now. Right, I'm gonna eat this. I'll get back to you later. Well done, baby. Good girl. Ugh, you're so good, sweetheart. You're so good. Come then. In you go. Well done. Good girl. Oh, that's pretty. Right, we're at sunset. Savannah's come back in. She's had her tea. And now you can definitely tell it is so much colder in here, the air. So I shut this off in winter, and then that means the heating stays in and it stays nice and warm. And that divide is incredible considering it's just a piece of plywood, really. A couple more dog walkers have come, people on bikes. I'll leave the curtains open as long as possible because it casts these lovely lights during sunset, but we'll soon get into evening mode. Yeah, we've lost the light now. We need to turn the lighties on. Where are we, Savs? Oh. There she goes. Close the curtains and tuck it underneath there, so it keeps the heat in. I also sleep with a hot water bottle, and that goes at the base where my feet are. I used to do that in a house anyway, so that's not changed, but I sleep with a hot water bottle basically where my feet are. It genuinely does keep me so nice and toasty. If I wake up in the night and I do feel a little bit cold, I just straighten my legs out and then they touch the hot water bottle and it's like, oh, it's lovely. But I used to do that in a house, so that's not really changed. We had an absolutely beautiful evening with the moon and Venus. And this is us. Savs goes to sleep on the bed. I snuggle up in my corner in my Udi. And we have a lovely, warm, cosy evening before heading off to sleep. Good day. Oh, it's about 9 AM the next morning. I slept like a dream, obviously, because it's so cold. So it's oh hello, don't know what's happened there. It's due to snow today. The UK's lost its head again. Amber alert, it's going to be 2 degrees, oh my god, stay inside. So as much as it's probably going to be like the tiniest dusting of snow, I am up in the Yorkshire Dales. I'm not going to be stuck here, so I've just made the executive decision to go back to
maybe park outside my parents' house, maybe just go somewhere a little bit more local, because this is the first time we've had snow in the van since I've been in the van, and they are expecting it to be quite a lot, and it's going to snow for at least, I don't know, 18 hours. And then the kicker for me is, I've checked the weather, it's not getting above freezing for like 3 days. And as much as it's a nice place here, I do not want to get stuck and, you know, potentially run out of gas or anything like that. So call me a wuss, whatever. I'm making the executive decision to go back local, because the last thing I want to do is end up stuck an hour away from anyone that I actually know, because I am very isolated here. There's nobody else here overnight, and there's no like passing. No one will see me, do you know what I mean? There's no passing. So if I get stuck, I'm going to get stuck. So we're going to be cautious about it and head back today, which is a shame because I've only been up here for 2 days, but I can always come back. It's fine. And I wanted to change the scenery, and I got one. So let's see how things are this morning, because it is cold, and this is how I'm surviving winter, basically. I'm going to run back to safety. Hey, that's the beauty of being in a van. You can do what you want. I don't see the point in risking it and getting stuck. I just don't see the point. So we're going to go fill up the LPG, top it up anyway, because if I don't move for a few days and it's very cold, I will get through quite a lot of gas. So we'll have a walk this morning again, let Savs out, see how the cold's doing at the front of the cab. I'll show you all of that, and then we'll head back down, get some gas, and then go see the parents. It is a Saturday night, which means it's pizza night, and yeah, I might just go have a night with them instead. Okay, let's get up. There's no actually a bit of ice on there. Oh, there is ice. There is ice on that. Okay, so that's iced up this morning. We're on 11 degrees in here at the minute. This is the fun one. Let me show you this. Let's see what this looks like today. Okay, so here we are. That's blue, still cold. Yeah. That's not actually as bad as it was the other day. That's not frozen to it. So I tend to just leave that there unless it's like soaking wet. I'll run it out. But then we just, we'll just mop up a bit of this, because once the heat gets on this, it drips everywhere. So I tend to just mop that up a little bit. Not a bad view, really. And then Cat, hello darling. You'll be ready to go out, won't you? Open that. Hey sweetie. Meow. So we were completely alone last night. There was a bit of extra icy frost on the car park, but this is where, well actually no, first of all let's put this up. Let's put this up. I also keep this on here because basically that is just air out, so it's a bit of a keeps the heat in kind of thing. So it's actually a carbon filter that I bought. It's my toilet, the number 2 bucket in my toilet's got this all around it because it reduces smells. And then I was like, oh, hang on a second, if I just cut a bit, and I ended up putting some Velcro on here, and then it just sticks to it, so that stays there. Sorry Savvies, won't be a second. And then what have we got in here? Yes, okay, so right, look, there you go. 0 degrees. 0 degrees in the front. Oh, that is a lot more frost than yesterday. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move. Look at this. This is chaos. I do have a fair bit of gas left, but yeah, I don't want to risk that. Right, so what I tend to do, I'm going to shut this off. Wait for this to get warmer in the back, and then I open the front, and then the heat kind of like goes through, and it defrosts the front on its own, sort of naturally. But at the minute, right, I'll let Savs out. Cat's out. She can have a little explore. It doesn't look. I woke up like this. It doesn't actually feel that cold outside, which is weird. Oh, she's off. She went all in those woods yesterday and stuff, so I just need to watch out for dog walkers, really. But it's so cold this morning, I can't think any will come. Good girl. So yeah, she explores that, and then even though it's freezing,
I am going to, I've just put this down yesterday. But basically, if we close this fly net. Do you know, if anybody was here, well, I got this fly net. I almost got rid of this extra layer because I was like, there's no use for that. What is there going to be any use for that for? Well, it's very, very useful. So I basically do a little cat flap for her, a little hole, and she can get in and out, but it keeps most of the heat in. So, I mean, I've got the heating on. We're up to 13 now. If you've got the right clothes, it's absolutely fine. I've got big sockies on and legs out. Like, I'm fine. I've just been outside like this. It's not a problem. It's warm in the van when the heating's on. So let me get ready. I'll sort this out. I have literally just woken up, and then we'll go for another little walk, explore, and head back down. I mean, not a bad place to wake up, is it? Look at this. Pretty average. Pretty average once again. £1 million view. Just shut this for a sec. Look how filthy she is. She's so dirty. So this is defrosting now, because I've opened the gap between the cab and the back, so a little bit of ice left on the bottom, but that basically will be defrosted by the time I'm ready to go off, so that's easy. You can see how cold it is. Me out in my sliders again in winter. And Kitty is now in there, so she explores the woodlands. So that's a nice little spot if anybody's wanting to come up. Oh, now if that's not a thumbnail, I don't know what is. Then come the drips. On the inside, it gets really, really condensation-y, and then we get a load of these drips all in the front. So that's what this is for. And I wipe them up with that, basically. So what are we on now? This is 1.7 in the front. I've opened this, and we're on 16 in the back. I've got it set to 22. That's still open, cat's still out. I'm gonna get dressed. Oh my God, she's caught something. Look, she's got something in her mouth. Don't you be bringing that inside now then, missus. Right. Don't you be bringing that inside. Yes, well done, dear, but you don't bring that inside, thank you. This is my life. You wanna go back in now, dear? Come on then. Good girl, well done. Right, let's close it up for a minute then, shall we? Oh. Okay, I think that should be her out now. Her in, rather. And I can go for a walk. The front is now almost done. There's actually very little drips this time, considering. So what it's 2.8 in the front now, and 18 in the back, and as you can see it's now 5 to 10. There's really not a problem. I've got my hood up because I've been out, but I'm certainly not cold in the van.
Before heading back down to civilization, I made one last trip around the quarry, took in the sights, saw some old equipment, and found a lovely bench, which I wish I'd found the day before. I'd have sat there for hours. And I'm quite a big fan of fungi, and I found a couple of cool specimens, including one with a little ice hat. So that was us, and we headed back, and I am super glad we did, because the next morning we woke up to this. I made the right decision to leave. Are we a little bit snowed in, sweetie? God, look at this. So join us next time where we're snowed in for a couple of days. Thank you for watching. Go check out Patreon if you want extras, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.